Okay, this question here is testing your ability to name shapes and describe their properties using mathematical language. And this particular question, which has 2 marks associated with it, will look at your ability to work with quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals, so you need to know what quadrilaterals mean. The Latin word quad meaning 4, and so all of these shapes have 4 sides. So here are 6 quadrilaterals with their mathematical names. First of all, we have the trapezium. The properties of a trapezium are that none of the angles are the same and that none of the sides are the same length. Here we have a kite. Properties of a kite are that there's 2 pairs of equal sides, as you can see, but these sides are not opposite one another. Like you can see in an oblong or a rectangle, the equal sides are opposite one another. Here, they're not in a kite. The properties of an oblong, it has 2 opposite sides of equal length, and those pairs are different from one another. So an oblong has 4 right angles in it as well. Rhombus and a parallelogram. Now, these are quite interesting shapes because a rhombus has lines that run parallel to one another in the same direction, opposite to one another, and on the opposite sides we have lines running parallel to one another. Same with a parallelogram, and the 2 opposite sides are running parallel to one another or in the same direction. But you'll notice with a rhombus all the sides are of the same length, and a parallelogram only the opposite sides are of an equal length. 2 pairs of sides are different. And obviously with a square all sides are the same length and all angles are of an equal size, which are right angles. So I'm going to make this a little bit more simple with all my annotations, and let's read the question so that the answer we get satisfies all the criteria of the question. Lara chooses one of these quadrilaterals. She says it has 2 acute angles, 2 angles smaller, acute, smaller than 90, and all 4 sides are the same length. So first thing I'm going to do is find the shapes where all 4 sides are the same length. It's not a trapezium, it's not a kite, it's not an oblong, it is a square, it's not a parallelogram, and it is a rhombus. It's got 2 sides the same length. It has 2 acute angles. Now, if I look at a square, it has right angles. Acute is smaller than right angle. Obtuse is larger than a right angle. So none of the angles in there are acute. So it must be a rhombus. Here are the 2 acute angles in a rhombus. I'm going to write rhombus as my answer. I managed to get my pen right. Stefan chooses one of the quadrilaterals. He says it has more than 1 obtuse angle. It's more than 1 obtuse. It's more than 1 angle bigger than 90 degrees. It has no parallel sides. Now we know that a rhombus and a parallelogram both have parallel sides, so it won't be either of those. I'm going to use the reverse on this one. I'm going to cross out the ones that it won't be. Look at the square, it also has parallel lines, so it can't be this. We look at the oblong, it has parallel lines, so it can't be this one. If we look at the trapezium, it has a parallel lines, so it can't be this one. So it must be the kite, but we've got to satisfy another criteria, that it's got to have more than 1 obtuse angle. So if we look at the kite, are any of those angles bigger than 90? Well, yes, 3 of them are. 1, 2, 3. So it does satisfy 1 obtuse angle, has no parallel sides. So the answer to this part of the question is that it must be the kite.